You've just checked everything off your list. You have the job, the friends, and the life you told everyone you wanted. You're sitting in a room that should feel like a sanctuary, but instead it feels like a waiting room. You're looking at your life from the outside, wondering why the person inhabiting it looks so much happier than you actually feel. There's a hollow space in your chest that no amount of success can fill. It's a quiet, cold ache. You have every reason to be happy, yet you feel absolutely nothing. If you've ever felt guilty for feeling empty, you aren't ungrateful, you're disconnected, and there's a very specific reason why. Imagine a person named Leo. Leo just got a promotion. He has a partner who loves him at a quiet apartment in the city. On paper, Leo's winning, but every night when the lights go out, Leo feels like he's disappearing. He scrolls through his phone, looking for a spark, a feeling, or even a reason to be sad. But there's nothing, just a vast gray ocean where his emotions used to be. He feels like a fraud. He thinks if people knew how empty I felt, they'd think I was broken. This emptiness isn't a lack of things, it's a lack of you. Most of us were taught that happiness is a destination. We were told that if we gathered enough achievements, enough stability, and enough praise, the void would naturally close. But emptiness doesn't care about your resume. Often that hollow feeling is actually a protective shield your brain built a long time ago. Think back to when you were younger. Was there a time when your big emotions were too much for the people around you? Maybe when you were sad, you were told to toughen up. When you were excited, you were told to be quiet. Slowly, you learned a dangerous lesson. To stay safe and loved, you had to turn the volume down on yourself. You didn't just mute the pain, you muted the joy too. Now, years later, the volume knob is stuck. Everything is going well, but you can't hear the music. You're living a life designed by your survival instincts, not by your soul. Pause for a second and ask yourself, when was the last time I did something just because it made me feel alive, and not because it made me look successful? The irony of the empty feeling is usually hits hardest when life gets quiet. When you're struggling, you're too busy surviving to notice the void. But when the chaos stops and the good life begins, the silence becomes deafening. This is why you feel worse when you should feel better. The silence is finally giving your inner self a chance to speak. But because you've ignored that voice for so long, it doesn't know how to talk. It only knows how to scream through the emptiness. We live in a world that rewards us for being fine. We're praised for being consistent, productive, and easygoing. But being easygoing often means you've stopped going anywhere internally. You've become a passenger in your own body. You go to work, you smile at the right times, you say the right things, but yourself is locked in a basement somewhere, waiting for you to come find it. You might try to fill this hole with more work, more scrolling, more distractions, but you can't fill a spiritual hole with physical things. It's like trying to quench your thirst by looking at pictures of water. The emptiness is not a sign that you are failing at life. It is actually a compass. It is your mind's way of telling you that you are starving for authenticity. You're living a life that belongs to a version of you that doesn't exist anymore. You're wearing a costume that fits perfectly, but it's suffocating the person underneath. Think about the moments when the emptiness flickers, even for a second. Maybe it's the smell of rain, a specific song, or a deep conversation with a stranger. In those moments, you aren't successful, you just present. The void disappears when you stop performing and start existing. Here's the truth that is hard to hear. You might be waiting for a miracle to fill you up, but you are the only one with the key to that basement door. The emptiness will stay as long as you keep choosing fine over real. It will stay as long as you prioritize being liked over being known. Take a breath. Look around your room. You don't need to change your life today. You don't need to quit your job or run away. You just need to stop apologizing for the vacuum inside you. That void isn't an enemy, it's a space waiting for you to move back in. You aren't broken for feeling nothing when you have everything. You're just a person who has spent so much time taking care of the world that you forgot to inhabit your own heart. The emptiness isn't the end of your story. It's the moment the lights go down in the theater right before the real show begins. It's time to stop watching your life from the back row. It's time to take your seat. And when you finally stop, even just for a moment, you start to notice something you've been avoiding for a long time. Not a big realization, not a dramatic breakthrough, just a quiet awareness that you've been living on the surface of your own life. You've been reacting, responding, performing, but not actually being. And that realization doesn't fix everything, but it changes something small. It creates space. Space to pause before you automatically say, "I'm fine." Space to notice what you actually feel, even if it's uncomfortable. Because for a long time, feeling nothing felt safer than feeling too much. But numbness isn't peace, it's distance. Distance from pain, but also from everything else. And slowly, very slowly, you begin to realize that this emptiness isn't asking you to fill it. It's asking you to face it. Not with pressure, not with expectations, but with presence. Because the more you try to escape it, the more it follows you. But the moment you sit with it, even just a little, it starts to change shape. It becomes less like a void and more like a signal. A quiet message that says, there's still a part of you in there, waiting for you to come back. Not to who you were before, but to who you actually are now. And that's where everything begins.